yeah, you don't need liners at all. Like, watch me line this whole back piece with the edge of a mag.
Which you can line with a mag, but I wouldn't advise it for something like that.
Yeah, full back piece?
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah. It probably looks even more rough now.
Yeah, terrible.
To this day. What's up, everybody? It's Brandon from Tattooing 101, and today I am with the guy that if you want to master the art of tattooing, but also the business side, this is the guy you want to hear from. If you like content like this that helps you get to the next level of tattooing without dealing with all of the gatekeeping, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so you're able to keep up to date on all the content we come out with each week. Today, I'm here with Jay Hausman. Not many of you know this, but Jay actually is the owner of Tattooing 101 before me and Nathan jumped on board. So we took over back in 2020, and for the last year, we've been throwing around the idea of having him back on board in the community as an instructor. After he finished helping out a few students with their marketing. Now that those studios are rolling and booked out with clients, Jay is back with Tattooing 101 to help our students do the same. So today we're going to do a little bit of a interview talk with Jay. We're going to go over things about like Jay's tattooing journey, the struggles he had along the way, and why he left Tattooing 101 in the first place. And also, you're going to be seeing a lot of Jay in the future. So we wanted to take the time to introduce him to all of the guys and talk about how we can help grow your career as a tattoo artist, especially the business side of things, even if you're a complete beginner. So what's up, Jay?
Good to see you, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad to have you here. So, Jay, how did you start tattooing?
Yeah, man. I think like all of us, kind of dabbling, messing around with friends. So I was actually born in Oklahoma, and back then tattooing was illegal.
Oh, wow.
And so it was sort of like this like pirate lifestyle of like, you know, if you're a troublemaker little kid, kind of drawn to that. So one of my friend's brothers came back from prison and started showing us like how he was making homemade tattoo equipment in jail. And so we started, don't advise us, of course, but how we started kind of tattooing each other. And then from there had to, of course, leave Oklahoma. Only way out for me at that time was to join the military.
Yeah. Why did you have to leave?
Just, change of pace, man. I felt like I was kind of stuck, left home early, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. So joined the military, got stationed luckily in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and started, learning about Sailor Jerry, getting tattooed myself in like different ports, and start the collection and start the journey from there.
That's awesome. How did you get into an apprenticeship? Did you go through an apprenticeship?
I did, yeah. So funny enough, my first, I guess, more unofficial apprenticeship was, we were at sea in the Navy. I was stationed on a destroyer there out of Pearl Harbor, and we hit some heavy waves, and long story short, really messed up our ship.
No kidding.
Yeah, collapsed the whole front of the ship, so we couldn't make the sail back from Alaska to Hawaii. So we were stuck in port in Alaska for a few months.
Wow.
And so a friend of mine started shopping around. He wanted to get this big back piece done. And I'd go with him to all of his appointments and start asking the guy questions like, hey, how do you do that? How do you do that? And when you're starting out, like, you don't know what's good information and what's bad information. Yeah. And the guy was just telling me like, yeah, you don't need liners at all. Like, watch me line this whole back piece with the edge of a mag. And so that was my first like apprenticeship, I guess, was just terrible information.
Yeah. Which you can line with a mag, but I wouldn't advise it for something like that.
Yeah. Full back piece?
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
It was rough.
Yeah. It was rough. Yeah. It probably looks even more rough now.
Yeah. Terrible.
To this day. So what about after that one, after you kind of got out of Alaska? What was kind of the game plan from there?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I had a game plan back then, honestly, man. It was just, we did a lot of deployments to like different combat zones. And I feel like at that point, it's like, you're sort of in that YOLO lifestyle of like, you're going to war, you're in some things. There was that part of it, and also the part of just like, you're at sea for a long time with not much to do.
Yeah.
So I started trying to practice what I was learning from these different guys, getting tattooed in different ports. All my shipmates started trying to figure out how to tattoo. And yeah, I was doing that, tattooing on the ship, tattooing out of the barracks. And then I had some like weird, like super crazy like health thing happen. And like my heart stopped. I had this whole like cardiac stuff.
What?
Seizures and all the rest of it for like a number of years. Wow. Yeah, and I just kind of like obviously they were like working on like kicking me out because you can't go on deployment anymore.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, like life is like super, super short.
Mm-hmm.
And was always kind of drawn to that kind of like pirate lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like do what you want, have the freedom, you know. And now I couldn't like get like a regular job anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my only real option was sort of start door knocking, and found a guy in Kapolei, Hawaii, who had it was in his house, but it was like a legitimate shop.
Mm-hmm.
Had the licensing and everything in his garage. And he said, yeah, man, if like when you get kicked out, if you want to like leave all that stuff behind, I'll sort of like take you on and show you like the proper way to start tattooing, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome. Did they ever figure out what was wrong with like the heart problems?
Yeah, it was honestly like a decade of like losing consciousness, like seizures,
Mm-hmm.
like all kinds of stuff. Even happened one time in an airplane, just like passing
No
out. My heart
kidding.
stopped again on the way to a convention in Texas.
Wow.
We had to fly land in Arizona so I could get out and like get emergency treatment and stuff. And yeah, they wanted to give me like an implanted defibrillator, all kinds of crazy stuff, man. But I was like, nah, I'll take my chances.
Yeah.
I'll just die versus having the implant. But yeah, I know what it was. I don't know if I can publicly say it
Yeah.
because it's military stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'll tell you offline for
Yeah.
sure.
No problem. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So we'll fast forward to that apprenticeship in the garage. Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy's name was Jim. Super grateful for that guy kind of like giving me a chance, giving me like a little home, you know, to transition from the military. But I think like all of us who have had like the old school kind of apprenticeship, like it's not kind of like the path I think is right for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like as grateful as I am for Jim for giving me a shot, I felt like there was like kind of a hole in what I was learning.
Yeah.
And felt like there was something missing too, you know? And so like every time I made like any amount of money, especially because I had this kind of like, I really thought I was going to die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So every dime I made, I would just blow it by buying plane tickets and going to get tattooed by other artists all around the world. So that's how I just got covered. Like everywhere I could see to get tattooed, I would just like make a reservation, go get tattooed, watch them tattoo, ask as many questions as I could. And just kind of take the learning out on my own at that point.
That's awesome. And I bet you were able to build a ton of connections doing that as well, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I was definitely a super kind of like introverted, awkward dude, but
Yeah.
did what I could for sure.
I feel like a lot of tattoo artists are.
Yeah, man.
This comes with the territory.
Yeah. So yeah, man, especially in Hawaii, one of the, I guess like big dudes I kind of, you know, went out to find was, of course, like Hawaii is known for having Sailor Jerry's, like the birthplace of almost like that American traditional style
Yeah.
in the way we see it today. And so Jerry had his shop there, and his apprentice was still is still alive. His name is Lance McLean, and had his own small shop, like tucked away, hidden, like kind of a hidden gem in Hawaii. And I went to meet him, got tattooed by him, and started just like, you know, trying to hear about the old school, trying to hear how they came up. And yeah, he turned me on to like all the stories about him learning from Jerry, learning from, you know, Ed Hardy was one of Jerry's apprentices as well. And I was like, okay, cool. Like that gave me a thread. And so from there, really just tracked down Ed Hardy. Got to meet Ed Hardy, went and got tattooed at Lyle Tuttle's shop in San Francisco, just trying to like seek out all these OGs, you know, like
that's
I was
crazy.
obsessed. Ed Hardy told me that the biggest turning point for him in his tattoo career was when he started traveling to Japan and learning about Itazumi, or, you know, Japanese traditional tattooing. And so I was like, cool, I got a couple $100, one-way ticket to Japan, and just kept going over the years, you know. Got to meet Horiyoshi III, get tattooed by him. Met this guy named Ryugen, which hopefully you guys can meet at some point too. And he started teaching me like the traditional Tabori methods of hand tattooing. Started doing my whole back piece over there. And,
Wow.
Yeah, man, just was obsessed with like learning everything I could about tattooing. And again, like I didn't have a savings account. It was just like, bro, I'm dying anyway.
Yeah.
Let me just YOLO this out, you know, live that pirate lifestyle and see what happens.
That's awesome. So does Tabori hurt more?
Actually, Tabori hurts less.
Really?
It just takes way longer.
Yeah. That's a question I've always kind of had.
Yeah,
And I've
man.
had pretty close to Tabori, but not legit.
I'll give you a Tabori tattoo.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we'll do it. So with your journey and kind of meeting all these people, when did you decide that you wanted to kind of put all this information together?
Yeah, man. So I feel like something I learned about myself over the years is like I'm a natural like sharer or like rambler.
Yeah.
And like when I get excited about something, I just want to go off about it. And so, all my clients back when I was tattooing in Hawaii at Two Thumbs Tattoo were mostly military clients. I never considered myself like the world's best artist, but I was the world's best like at like sort of like the experience part of it, and like the story part of it. And so I'd have all these young military dudes coming in who are like an earlier version of myself who want to transition, but they're kind of scared and don't know what to do. So we'd talk about business, about tattooing, kind of like sharing what I was picking up. Yeah. And a lot of them went off, started their own tattoo shops, opened barber shops, started product lines, stuff like that. So I was sharing with them, sharing with our apprentices, like what I'd pick up on my journeys, and then started writing about it online here and there. And then, I found this really old website, like the domain itself, Tattooing 101, already existed. Wow. Yeah, the domain itself, but it was a pen name by a guy named Brandon Jackson. Brandon Jackson isn't a real person, it's a pen name. Really? Yeah, and so the guy behind it who was using the pen name wasn't even a tattoo artist, but he was just like kind of interested. Like he had no tattoos himself. Super cool dude. Like he taught me a lot about just like improving my writing and that side of things. Wow. But, a lot of the information was, because he never had tattoos, wasn't a tattoo artist, was, not entirely accurate. Yeah. And so, I bought the domain off of him, tattooing101.com, and started just sort of like blogging all the stuff I was learning on my lessons to try and get it out to that broader audience, share the stories. With that, how did you kind of structure it to go from like just a website with a blog into the Tattooing 101 we see today? So the guy, Brandon, we'll call him, the pen name of Brandon, he had like a really old like couple videos on the site, but they were from like the 90s, like super old school. And so, I just kept writing. I was helping my friends kind of open and grow their tattoo shops there in Hawaii. And so with this blog kind of happening, and then me trying to figure out marketing and sales and stuff for tattoo shops, I left with like 2 classes left, my art degree, and switched over to business school and started over in business school. Wow. And I really got deep into marketing. Met my business mentor, my first one over there. This guy, Peter Rowan. He's the VP of acquisition for Coinstar and Redbox here in the States. Okay. Yeah, so he taught me like all about marketing, sales, lean startup methodology, like all this, this business stuff. And started helping me like kind of like shape my thinking around, lead gen marketing and sales, not just for tattoo studios, but for tattooing 101 as well. That's awesome. And with that, because obviously you kind of went from tattooing to making this like your main focus. So how did that kind of go about? So I was still tattooing full time, but I feel like, back in the day when we had like that profit pyramid, right? You start out as kind of like the apprentice level artist, then you go up to like what I would call like a junior artist. You just kind of like take in walk-ins as they come. Then you're like an artist who has consistent bookings. You're fully booked out, and you don't have to worry about clients and stuff anymore. And like at the very top of that, like it's almost like a different skill set of shifting into business side. Yes. Like all this down here is sort of like art, design, some business type stuff, but to shift your focus to being like a full like business owner, not a lot of guys want to even go that high. Yeah. You just want to stay focused on doing tattoos, which is super fun. But for me, like, I think from being an engineer in the background, before tattooing, I had that kind of like systems thinking of like, how do we systemize and build things out and spreadsheets and like all this like really dorky stuff. All the stuff that usually tattoo artists don't like to do. Exactly. Yeah. So I think I fell more in line with that. I started focusing more there for sure. That's awesome. So with that, obviously the big thing to think about as a tattoo artist is, everyone goes through a period of time to where they start to feel burnt out. You know, like grinding every second of every day gets traumatic on the body, no matter who you are. So what's kind of like the story along with that, with your tattoo career? Yeah, in terms of kind of why I kind of had to step away and then come back. Yeah, man. Yeah, I think it's the question of the day, right? Yeah. Is where's Jay been hiding? Honestly, it wasn't about tattooing. Like I still love tattooing and the craft, and like the big thing for me, man, is like the freedom that this life kind of provides for you. But I kind of like hinted at it without going into too much detail. But like I had a lot of stuff I was kind of carrying around from that military stuff that happened, and honestly, yeah, thinking I was dying, having like all these seizures and cardiac stuff going on. And then I was still in business school. I was filming hundreds and hundreds of videos for the Arts Accelerator.
Yeah.
I was tattooing full time. And back then, man, tattoo education was very, very different. Like, we got so much hate being like, the world's first online comprehensive tattoo education platform, as the slogan goes.
Yeah.
Like, death threats, people making websites, just like hating.
Wow.
It was super heavy, which is very different from how it is today. Like, so yeah, man, honestly, I just burnt out. Just like dealing with everything. I just kind of shut down a little bit, just to be honest with everyone. And yeah, at the same time, like, I was just like going down that path of graduating from business school, meeting Peter. And then from there, I kind of like branched out and went down like that business and marketing path for a while.
Yeah. My
little marketing, eat, pray, love journey. And I think it's very interesting, like stepping away from tattooing, because, when we were coming up, marketing and tattooing was like, hand out your business card.
That's it.
Tell your clients to refer their friends.
Yeah.
That's marketing.
Word of mouth. Yeah.
But I think stepping out for a couple of years and like seeing how marketing is done for like Coinstar, Redbox, Fujitsu, like these big companies I had a chance to get contact with, helping my friends start software companies and things like that. And now bringing like that ammunition back to our students here.
That's a big deal.
Game over, man. Yeah.
It's going to change the game. For sure.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, so tattooing has changed a ton over the last even couple of years.
Yeah.
When it comes to marketing for tattooing, like if you are not on point with understanding marketing or having someone help you along with that, there's a lot of people that are going to be left in the dust. There's people out there that aren't pushing out the best tattoos, and they're staying booked up because of marketing. We have 100%. Social medias now that if you don't do it, it's going to cause a problem for you being able to make money in this industry.
Yeah.
So that's a big point of why you are so valuable, and we're so happy to have you back. And yeah, I just want to thank you for sharing your journey with us. Yeah, it's going to be really cool kind of having you back. That way, we could teach our students how to grow a thriving business from the ground up, and having all that insight of all the companies that you've kind of been able to communicate with to transition that into tattooing is going to be a huge deal for the industry.
No, it's good to be back, man. Yeah, I really appreciate you, Nathan, and the whole team for bringing me back in. I'm super excited to be working with you again, man.
It's going to be awesome. So much fun stuff to come in the future. So with that being said, if you are struggling with your line work, or you're just first starting out with tattooing and you would like to learn a little bit more to help perfect your ability, make sure you click on the link down below to our line work secrets, where you could get yourself a free copy and help out with all of those things. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to having Jay on plenty of videos to come.